Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the members of the Academy, I now present you with the 10th President of Carnegie University, Dr. Farnam Jahanian. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. Chairman Rohr, trustees, faculty colleagues, students, staff, alumni, and honored guests. Good morning, and thank you. It's a great honor and a truly humbling experience to stand here as the 10th president of Carnegie Mellon University. I hereby accept the symbols, the office of the president, and all of the responsibility pertaining thereto. It brings me great joy to celebrate this occasion with my family, especially my wife Tris and my children Daniel, Thomas, and Sarah, who have always been my greatest blessing. I am so touched by the presence of friends, former students, colleagues, and collaborators who have traveled from across the country to be here. I also want to acknowledge community partners and civic leaders from the Pittsburgh region who are showing their support for this university today and every day. And I would especially like to thank my dear friends, Marlene Berman, Keith Block, and Martha Pollack, for their kind and thoughtful words this morning. Martha, I've been following your footsteps. What you didn't tell them is that you were my department head and my provost, my boss for many, many years. I don't know what you're planning to do next. I'm pretty happy to be here, so don't do anything else. Today's ceremony is a celebration steeped in tradition. The singing of our national anthem, our academic regalia, the iconic sound of bagpipes. These rituals remind us that at this moment is not about the beginning of my journey as president. Rather, this ceremony celebrates our storied history as a community of scholars in a nation driven by learning and discovery. CMU is relatively a young university. We've come so far in such a short time, and our accomplishments would have not been possible without the leadership of my predecessors. I especially want to acknowledge and thank President Emeritus Jerry Cohen and past Provost Mark Camlett for their enduring commitment to this university. We are so grateful to you for everything you have done for Carnegie Mellon. Mark and Jerry. Of course, great leaders are inspired by an extraordinary community As Mark and Jerry can attest, countless faculty, staff, alumni, and partners helped to build the foundation of excellence CMU enjoys today. I am grateful to all the men and women who have guided this university since its founding and who will secure its future. In particular, I wish to recognize the members of Carnegie Mellon's Board of Trustees who are the stewards of this institution. I am so grateful for their trust they have placed in me. Trustees, would you please stand to be recognized? Carnegie Mellon trustees. Thank you. Please be seated. I would also like to acknowledge and thank the university deans, vice provost, and executive management team, my co-conspirators, who do so much to advance CMU every day. Would the university leadership team please stand to be recognized? Like many of us here, I left home as a teenager to pursue an education. As I prepared for my journey from Iran to Texas, I remember asking my mother to help me pack. She said, "Pack light, because whatever you need, you will find there." Pack light, because whatever you need, you will find there. And so as I left home with little more than a sense of optimism and a desire to make the most of the incredible opportunities that only an education in the United States could provide, I've carried my mother's words with me over these many years. I think her advice may have been based on a hope that I would return home once the initial excitement wore off. But I was pretty stubborn. In fact, I got my tenacity from her along with a work ethic instilled in me by my father. My siblings who are here can attest to that. But looking back, perhaps my mother was hinting at the knowledge I would accumulate in the journey ahead. As a teacher and advisor, I came to understand the incredible power of education to change lives. As a researcher, mentor, entrepreneur, I observed the potential of a single idea to launch a new enterprise or disrupt an entire industry. And during my time in public service in Washington, D.C., I saw how these ideas, emerging from higher education serve as a foundation of our success as a nation. My 30-year career ultimately led me here to this city and this university. This community, our community, embodies all of my most fervent beliefs and my greatest passions. Every day at CMU, I am inspired by you. Here, the world's most ambitious students collaborate at the edges and intersection of diverse fields and go on to change the world as alumni. Here, faculty leave an indelible mark on society through their scholarship. Here, professionals and dedicated staff create an environment that support our shared success. These are the people and the ideals that set CMU apart from the very beginning. When Andrew Carnegie founded the Carnegie Technical Schools to educate the sons and daughters of factory workers in 1900. Early, it's an evolution. This institution would house two great learning environments, the College of Engineering and the College of Fine Arts. You see, right from the start, we were bringing together creativity and industry. Our willingness to take risks continued into the 20th century when we became the first degree-granting drama institution in the United States. And then, when the Mellon Institute of Research, founded by Richard and Andrew Mellon, merged with Carnegie Tech to create Carnegie Mellon University. And again, when Newell, Simon, Perlis, and Raj Reddy came to dominate the emerging field of computer science and establish artificial intelligence as the next frontier in human progress. To paraphrase CS pioneer Grace Hopper, the most dangerous phrase in the English language is, "We've always done it this way." So at a time when computers were barely understood, we were among the very first to recognize the power of computing, and we made some big bets. In 1965, we established our Department of Computer Science. In 1979, we founded the first robotics institute at a US university. In 1984, we attracted funding from the federal government to launch the Software Engineering Institute. And in 1988, we announced the first college in the world devoted solely to computer science. Ours is still the model that others follow. In the process, we've created new fields of inquiry, such as machine learning, transition design, and the science of learning. We've magnified our societal impact through technologies like autonomous vehicles and additive manufacturing. And we did all of this while also cleaning up at the Tonys, the Emmys, and the Putnam competition. There's a lot to be gained by looking back at our past. We see who we are, who we've always been. Alumni from those early years would certainly see themselves in today's students. Entrepreneurial, creative, collaborative, whip smart, and just a little bit quirky. While the past has left a bright trail, the future is arriving faster than anyone could have predicted, and you've heard several speakers talk about that. Our entire world is adapting to unprecedented advances that are rapidly transforming our economy, our society, and our culture. We must ask ourselves, how can higher education fit into this dazzling future? Indeed, our industry has recently come under scrutiny. This is not a new phenomenon. Academic institutions have often been seen as, or criticized rather, as ivory towers. But there is no doubt that sustained investment in research and education has fueled our nation's broad prosperity since World War II. Universities exemplify our faith in the power of education to transcend social, economic, and racial divides. To reinforce our role as pillars of progressive society, higher education must approach our mission with renewed attention to the unique demands of tomorrow. At stake is the ability of our society to retain its fundamental commitment to democracy, truth, equity, and freedom of expression. At Carnegie Mellon, we have always responded to challenges with trademark fearlessness. I'm reminded of the leadership of Dick Sayert, who not only pioneered a new model for business education as dean of our business school, but would later serve as one of the most visionary CMU presidents. More than 40 years ago, he made bold but calculated investments in the very areas that define our leadership today. These risks were not always met with broad support, but they paid off. As a result, CMU grew from a small regional institution to an international center of higher education. The time to be intentionally bold is once again upon us. We have a singular opportunity to wield our exceptional strength and make the next big investments in our global leadership. Let's consider together what society needs most from academic institutions in the context of our two core missions, research and education. At CMU, we advance human knowledge through scholarly research and forge new connections to our humanity through the arts. But the nature of research and creativity is rapidly changing, increasingly becoming dependent on people working across the boundaries of established disciplines, and on computational, data-driven approaches that are accelerating discovery and innovation. This is precisely where CMU excels. In fact, we have cultivated a distinct leadership where these two areas intersect at the nexus of technology and society. Through these expertise, we're enhancing the way we live, work, and communicate. And we're shaping modern culture through visionary art, performance, and design. CMU legend Herb Simon once said, "We're not observers of the future, we're actors. Our job is to design a sustainable and acceptable world and bring it about." This remains true, as true today as when he said it more than 20 years ago. What has also remained constant is the tremendous responsibility that comes with this influence. I was reminded of this last year when I came across an editorial by David Brooks in the New York Times, which reflected on Pittsburgh's Renaissance. Of course, our connection to this city is one of our greatest strengths. But this article, while acknowledging CMU's positive impact, also warned of a so-called Carnegie Mellon layer of prosperity that had not quite penetrated working-class neighborhoods. Indeed, we are witnessing the disenfranchisement of a growing segment of our population, people who just do not see themselves as part of this new economy, who can't even imagine a pathway to entry. While the nature of this divide has been debated by pundits on the left and on the right, this goes far beyond partisan politics. We all bear responsibility for ensuring that the future we're building works for everyone. If we succeed, the United States will continue to serve as a shining example of prosperity and democracy for the rest of the world. Here lies the greatest obligation for institutions of higher learning in the modern era, and a commitment that lies at the heart of CMU's leadership. Even as we break new ground in technology, we must work to mitigate any consequences that diminish human dignity and opportunity. That is why at CMU, scientists and engineers work together with philosophers, artists, economists who will shape what might be possible, with ethicists, humanists, and policy experts who will guide our path, and with the behavioral scientists who will measure the impact of our work on humanity. Reinforcing our distinct strength at the nexus of technology and humanity will be crucial to building an extraordinary momentum in both research and creativity. And as president, I am committed to supporting this leadership by investing in a diverse community of faculty and researchers, by doubling down on our partnership beyond the borders of our campus, and by creating vibrant living laboratories in communities around the world. This is the next frontier for Carnegie Mellon, and I believe it will only deepen our societal impact heading into the future. As much as we value our impact of our research and creativity, we are equally committed to our educational mission. And as a CMU parent, the responsibility of preparing the next generation is deeply personal to me. To the CMU students, here today, and also across various campuses and our campus watch parties, you are my most important motivation. You're spending your most formative years here. From what I remember from my own college experience, you're undoubtedly forming lifelong friendships. You know, many of my best friends from college are still my best friends today. The foundation you built here will sustain you as you enter a world defined by continuous disruption. According to a recent study, about 2/3 of jobs that you will hold throughout your lives do not even exist. This reality has dramatic and immediate implications for the kind of education you deserve today. Throughout our history, every period of significant technological change has been met with a corresponding wave of innovation in education. I'm here to tell you that right now, we are at the dawn of the next major transformation in education. And Carnegie Mellon will be at the forefront of these changes. From curriculum to pedagogy to structure and organization, we are reimagining our education with your futures in mind. We're breaking down disciplinary silos and launching cross-cutting programs that better serve your interests and society's needs. Programs like behavioral economics, neuroscience, and ID8. We're embedding continuous learning in the skills that will only increase in demand as automation reshapes the future of work. Skills like communication, critical thinking, and entrepreneurship. We're investing in infrastructure that supports the new ways that students learn and collaborate. Spaces like Tepper Quad and Scaife Hall. We're utilizing our expertise in the science of learning to develop a personalized model of education focused on how each of you learns best. Every day, we work to build and sustain a community that's inclusive, equitable, nurturing for both graduate and undergraduate students. A place where diverse perspectives can come together in a culture of civil discourse. To our students, thank you for entrusting us with this most important chapter in your lives. You will always be at the heart of my presidency. As we consider the aspirations that unite this global community, philanthropy must continue to catalyze and support our forward momentum. In fact, this university was founded by an act of philanthropy. At this pivotal moment, I am delighted today to announce 2 extraordinary new commitments that will provide critical resources to Carnegie Mellon. In recent years, Carnegie Mellon has been making significant investments for our College of Engineering, including a state-of-the-art maker ecosystem that serves the entire campus. Today, I'm pleased to announce that the Allegheny Foundation has committed a $30 million lead grant toward the transformation of Scaife Hall into a modern new home for our mechanical engineering department. This grant, the largest in the history of Allegheny Foundation, will enable us to bring our total infrastructure investments in engineering over the last decade to more than $250 million. With this commitment, CMU will be better able to compete for best students and faculty, driving Pittsburgh's reputation as a hub for innovation. We're joined today by Matt Grohl, President and Chairman of Allegheny Foundation. Please join me in thanking Allegheny Foundation for their generosity to Carnegie Mellon. Matt, please stand to be recognized. At a time when college education has never been more important, many prospective students and middle-class families feel as though they're simply priced out of education that they may need for the future. This is why CMU has made growing our endowment for scholarship, fellowships, and financial aid one of our most important strategic priorities. Today, I'm pleased to announce that CMU trustee Tod Johnson and his wife, Cindy, have committed $50 million to create an endowment to support undergraduate scholarship and student success. I made the announcement a couple of times yesterday, and I said this last night. Every time I'm making this announcement, when I get to the word student, I choke up. That's why we're here. Tod and Cindy, will you stand, please, to be recognized? Go back, go back. Well, I lost my place. Boy, I didn't realize this speech was this long. I know, tell me about it. Well, back to the place that I lost track of time. This support will greatly expand our ability to ensure that a Carnegie Mellon education is within the reach of all talented students. This gift, the largest toward scholarship support in Carnegie Mellon's history, was inspired by Tod's own path to success here at CMU and the fellowship that funded his education. Please, once again, join me in thanking and congratulating the Johnsons for their generosity and commitment to our students. Tod and Cindy, we are so grateful to you for your generosity. I hope you packed a good lunch. This is a long speech. My fellow Tartans, whether you're in Pittsburgh, Silicon Valley, Australia, Rwanda, or Qatar, I hope you are as excited as I am about the future of Carnegie Mellon University. To be part of CMU at this moment is to be at the cusp of the next great phase of societal and human development. If we continue doing what we do today, we'll maintain momentum and continue to be a great university. But if we are very intentional, if we are unapologetically bold, and if we are committed to taking risks, I am confident that we will position ourselves among the top-tier institutions in the world, a place that's known for writing the story of this century, an institution dedicated to anticipating and solving the most pressing challenges facing humanity through creative inquiry, through scientific discovery, through the impact of technology, and through a transformative education that changes lives. As we embark on this exhilarating future together, we do so as a community bound together by a set of core values that serve as our foundation: integrity, knowledge, compassion, respect. The great scientist Albert Einstein understood this fundamental connection between excellence and human values. In 1950, he wrote, "Only morality in our actions can give beauty and dignity to life. To make this a living force and bring it to clear consciousness is perhaps the foremost task of education." Andrew Carnegie put it a little bit more simply: my heart is in the work. Each one of us has a role to play in bringing beauty and dignity to our mission through the impact we make on society, the leaders we develop, and the opportunities we create for others. I feel privileged to work with such outstanding partners, and I look forward to all that we will achieve together. Thank you very much. Thank you.